Hey, this is Roto Dojo. Welcome to part two of how I make my green screens. This time we are covering Flip-A-Clip. Now, first we need to open the app. Now, just wait for it to load. You have this animation of a woman with a pencil, I think is what it is. Now, anyway, you've got multiple projects you can look at here. I'm going to open a new one just to show you the ropes on how it works. Now, click on the plus sign thing in the bottom middle corner there, click on that, and you can start your animation. What you need to do is name it first. I'm going to just call it a test. And you can choose the quality options. I picked 1080p. Now, and then there is the frame rate. It's on 12 FPS on average. You can go from 1 to 30 frames per second. 30 max. It doesn't let you go any higher than that for some reason. I guess they thought it would have been too complicated if it got any higher. But anyway, so once you have that sorted out, you've named it, you've chosen your quality size, you're going to pick your frame rate, and once you're done with that, click Create Project. Now, how you get this working is specifically pick Add Video. You click on the three dots on the top right corner, click Add Video, and then you look at your video options, and I specifically click the one right here that's 1 second, because I don't want this to take too long. Now, you look at the animation itself, it's, there's no volume. I make sure that, it's quiet. Now, after I do that, pay attention to what it says right there. See, it says the video is in 30 FPS. Pay attention to that when you're, moving videos into Flip-A-Clip, making sure the frame rate is correct. Sometimes it may be 23 FPS or 20 or 25, 27. It can be very random at times. So whatever the FPS of the video is, make sure Flip-A-Clip matches that setting. So that way the frame rate won't get nerfed. So you click the check mark. And sometimes if you are not upgraded to Flip-A-Clip Plus, you will have to watch an ad to use a video for free. And there's also a watermark you need to do. So yeah, either do that or you can upgrade. Now technically Flip-A-Clip Plus, the two options are you pay monthly, which is $6 a month, or you can pay yearly, which is $30 a year. So, and I believe $30 a year if you divide that by 12, I think that's like $2.30, like $2.30 a month. So yeah, it's cheaper to do that option. But anyway, I'm going to just click watch ad and I'm going to skip until it's done. Now, as you can see, it's taking the video and now it's going to turn it into frames. Every frame of the video where there's movement. Basically, when it reaches 100%, it'll lay out every frame for you. Now, on average, like you said on the FPS, technically it goes from, 30 to 1 FPS. So technically a second and, 26, there's a total of 54 frames. Get rid of that white frame at the beginning. Now, to turn this into a green screen animation, when you look at it by default, how you get that to work is simple. Basically, what you need to do is first, you got to switch to the bucket right here, click on it a second time, and you get color options. Make it green. And another thing you could do is save colors. I specifically have it saved on right here if I want a green color, and you can switch between these different ones you've saved. You click on that plus sign whenever you have a color option you like. Click the plus right there and it'll save it. And also, if you're trying to make a new list of colors, like it's already have one by default, you click the plus on the top there. So once you have that understanding, you go there. And another way to get the code in case you lost the color, take a screenshot or write down this number right here of what the color is. That'll help you find it quicker if you had to reset the app or something. That's usually how I do it. Remember those code numbers. So anyway, now, after you're done with that, you click on the screen and it covers the whole thing in paint. Now, basically what you need to do is paint every single frame green, and you use the eraser tool to erase the paint off of the subject, so you just have him and everything else is green. So do this to every frame. This will take a while, so I'll probably just speed this up. Okay, now that every frame has been painted green, go back to the beginning by pressing that thing on the left corner right there. So basically what you need to do now is, remember that this is a very specific process, click layer on the bottom right corner here, then press the arrow right here. Now what you need to do is lower the opacity to a level where you can see the subject and the green at the same time. It's random depending on what you're painting, so don't always take the precise percentage that I'm using here. So yeah, it depends on what you're painting. I'm going to go with 35%. Now that you're done with this, click the eraser tool and adjust the size to what is decently reasonable for what you're painting here. Now, the good news about zooming in on the screen here is you have full control here. You can zoom in, you can zoom out with your fingers, you can twist the screen a little bit and zoom in and get a good precise detail if you're struggling to get it right. So you've got full control here. Now I'm going to adjust the size again to like 11 and you can see my finger is tracing over it. This is how you get precise details if AI does not understand what you want. This is usually what I do when I make an animation if AI doesn't understand it. Now, to be honest, it's been a while since I've last done it this way, but I have not forgotten how. Trust me, I still use Flip-A-Clip when it comes to making these animations. Not for doing it completely on Flip-A-Clip, but more or less editing it this way. I will show you what I mean by that later on. Probably not in these tutorial videos, but maybe in the future I'll show you what I mean by that. But the main point is showing you how to make this animation specifically only on Flip-A-Clip. Now, again, like I said, this takes a very long time to do, so I'm going to just speed this up for when I'm done with this first frame, and then I will just skip ahead to when I've painted all of the frames to show you what I mean. Okay, I'm back. Now, with the state that it's currently in, go back to layer and click on the arrow and put the percentage back to 100%, and you can see what the green screen will look like when it's finished. Now, as you can see right here, the detail looks very precise as I manually painted it myself. When you put the percentage when it's at full, you can kind of see the mistakes now if it doesn't look exactly the way you hope it does. So you can make those corrections right there, like with this shoe right there. And, there's little marks that I missed. I can always fix that at the last second. So be patient with this and don't just move on to the next frame after you're done with this. Make sure to double check that the detail looks the way you want it to. Now, after you do that, like I mentioned again, there is a total of, if you look at it, 54 frames total. And this is just the first one right here. Now, to be honest, this took me about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes to do. So again, if you add that time, you may be working on this for probably a few hours to get it the way you want it to. Like I mentioned, I don't highly recommend this method. I only recommend this if it's too difficult for AI to track. But as you saw earlier in the first video, this was not too difficult to track using Runway ML, and I imagine in part 3 when I use After Effects, it'll be much quicker as well. Like I'm saying, this is the slow but necessary method if you want to do this frame by frame. Now, I'm going to skip ahead to when I have all the frames done and show you what I mean. Okay, now as you can see right here, like I've explained, it takes a very long time to do this. Personally, I'm on a little schedule of myself, so I need to get this done quickly. Maybe in the future I'll update these tutorials and make more advanced ones to explain in more detail. But as the moment, I have done the first 6 frames here. As you can see, if I move forward, you can see it like this, as I move the frame layer. Now, like I said, there's a total of 54 of these. I can remove the paint by clicking on the eye here of the layer. Remember how I mentioned I got here? What you need to do is simple. Click on the layer on the right corner, then click on the arrow right here, and you can get to the settings of opacity. But if you just click on the percentage right here, you can turn off the paint and then turn it back on. That's one trick you can do if you want to look at it before and afterwards. But this is the tutorial on how to do this on Flip-A-Clip. Just repeat this process on every single frame until you get through the whole thing. And this is how you do it on Flip-A-Clip. Next, we'll be moving on to the expensive option of doing this, known as the best way possible, Adobe After Effects.